Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Ruiz alongside my co-host Chris Jenkins. Our Carolina Panthers were just defeated today by the Philadelphia Eagles 21-18, and let me tell you, it was a tough one. A little bit disappointed in both the defense and the offense, but we're going to hear what Coach Rule has to say about today's game.
All right, disappointed about today. Really disappointed in the second half. The credit goes to them. I thought Coach Sirianni did a nice job getting his team ready, and they played 4 quarters, and we did not. Really not much else to say other than that. We couldn't control the line of scrimmage. Gave up big plays late in the game. Couldn't protect the football. Quarterback was under duress. Couldn't make plays that we needed down in the red zone and all those areas to make touchdowns instead of field goals. Couldn't capitalize on the opportunities we had. So thought we did a nice job in the first half building a lead and could not sustain that. And the football team that we want to be is a team that when they have the lead can run the football and control the line of scrimmage. We have not been able to do that. We were not able to do it today, and that's why we ended up in the loss.
Got to keep staying patient. I think that's the biggest thing is pressing too much. Just got to come out of the locker room firing. That's the biggest thing. And, I felt like, we got a first down and we had a little bit of momentum, but we just got to execute. I know we had a holding penalty, I think, on that first drive that just kind of set us back. And, we can't hit ourselves. We can't hit ourselves with penalties and turnovers. Every loss stings. I think that's the biggest thing for me. It stings just as much to me, at least, as last week. I think we just gotta. I think this week in particular, we didn't execute the way that we wanted to. I mean, there were some good things in the Dallas game, but again, a loss is a loss, and it's always frustrating when you got a lead at halftime and things are kind of going well, and you just can't. At least offensively, we couldn't get anything going.
You also heard Sam Darnold express his frustrations about today's game. What are your thoughts on the game?
So the overall game was just, man, let me go through my notes here. So newsflash is that we still don't play complete games, right? We had a good first half, not a good second half. We were outscored 15-3 in the second half. So we gotta still find a way to get rid of that problem, fix that problem. The other thing we had, lots of turnovers. We had 3 turnovers. We had lots of penalties. Let me see if I have it here. 9 penalties, 69 yards. I feel like at least 4 of those were offensive line. I feel like 3 of those were offensive linemen holding. Way too many mistakes today with the turnovers and the penalties. And I think the Eagles had 2 turnovers, and we had the 3. And as well as the offensive line, you got to say that was the story of the day, right? Protecting Sam Darnold. He was under pressure. I have some more stats that I'll share here in a second, but Sam Darnold was under pressure the entire game. And, he said there, I don't know if we played it or not, but he mentioned that he felt like he was starting to press too much. And it was asked, like, was it because of the pressure that was coming onto you? Of course, if you're going to be a quarterback, if you're going to be paid all the money, you're not going to say, yeah, my offensive line wasn't giving me any time to get the ball off, and that's why I was pressing. But it was certainly an issue. But what we'll be talking about, I'm sure, over the next day or two is the fact that, Taylor Moton switched to the other side. Brady Christensen came in. Taylor spoke to the media. I know we don't have any video of that, but Taylor spoke, and he just said, as all these guys will say, they're not going to blame anybody for their mistakes. He's not going to say just because I'm used to playing on the right, and he's switching to the left is the problem. He's not going to say, well, Brady was out there for the first time. We're going to have to draw our own conclusions about what happened, but that offensive line with the shifts that they made just did not work out today and made for a long day and ultimately a loss today versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, it was a tough one to say the least. Sam Darnold had a very hard time today. He was sacked 3 times, and he also threw 3 interceptions. Yeah. So I think that's every quarterback's worst nightmare, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I have the stats if I can.
Oh, yeah, of course.
On Sam, did you have it?
Oh, go ahead.
All right, I got you. So Sam was 21 for 37, 300. I wish 300 yards, right? By the way, his streak that we talked about in pregame, 3 consecutive games, longest active streak has now has ended. He had 177 yards passing, 1 TD, 3 interceptions, and sacked 3 times, hit 8 times. So, yeah, he was feeling a lot of pressure today and just didn't have the game that we wanted him to have. And now the questions are going to start to get a little bit louder. Was Sam Darnold's first 3 games just because of the easy competition, right? And now that we've had some tough games against the Cowboys and now against the Eagles, which we all did not see it being this tough, which Sam Darnold are we going to have? We got 3 good games or 2 bad games to see where Sam is.
Yeah, it was pretty hard to see today because I know a lot of people were comparing Sam's performance today to his previous performances with the Jets.
Yeah.
So I have faith in Sam. I feel like he's going to come back stronger next week after today's loss, and after they recoup and watch film and everything else. But I think he'll be much better. I don't think we're going to see Jets Sam anymore. So for all those people out there worrying, have faith in him, give him a little bit more time, and we've just got to believe in him for now. But yeah, another person I was pleasantly surprised with was Chuba Hubbard today.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but I feel like he had a pretty good game. How do you feel about him?
Chuba definitely was like the offensive MVP. He had 24 carries, I believe, of just over 100 yards. He had several plays in which you felt like he was just like an ankle tackle balance away from really breaking it into something much longer. But his average yards per carry was around 5 yards, and he played really, really good. You know, certainly you miss a Christian McCaffrey because he's just out of this world, but Chuba was by far a good player of the game on the offensive side, in my opinion. In my opinion, they also tried to work, you know, so Taylor was switched over to the left-hand side. And in my opinion, they tried to do runs over the center where Matt Paradis is, and of course he's a veteran. And a lot of the runs were to the right side. I'm sorry, I got to flip it because I was watching from the press box, right? To the left side, which is where they could take advantage of some of Taylor Moton's abilities to do some run protection, and succeeded there on that side.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day, and I feel like all of us after today's game are definitely feeling it, and aren't as in great of spirit. So it's been sad that we've lost, but I'm going to keep it somewhat positive because I feel like there's hope for this team. And although we did struggle today, I feel like we'll be back. We'll be back next week.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to give you permission to wear your heart on your sleeve about this loss today and how much harder it is to report on the game when they lose.
Honestly, I express my emotions so much, so it's hard for me to hold back when I'm sad, but I'm pretending to be somewhat upbeat. But let me tell you, I'm feeling the way that all of you are right now. Okay, yeah, all of you I know are feeling really sad too and down and upset, and I'm feeling the same way, but I'm trying to be as upbeat as I possibly can because I do have faith in this team, and I feel like we're going to come back stronger. So I just want to tell all of you, please believe in this team. Please rally behind them. They have what it takes to be a great team.
Yeah.
We just have a lot to learn from. But enough about the offense and how we feel personally after this game. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. I know we do disagree. We've had a few conversations about this before, but I feel like the defense did hold their own. I mean, I know they lacked in the second half, but I feel like they did a solid job. I feel like they have done a lot better in the past weeks, and I know everyone's been impressed with the defense, but being on Twitter and interacting with everybody, I know that a lot of you also were impressed with the defense again. And like I said, I know there's room for improvement, and we lacked in some areas, but we have one of the best defenses in the game. Let's just say that. Although we didn't see it completely today, we do. So let's hear your thoughts. I know you disagree with me on the defense not doing very well today, but thoughts?
Yeah, so I don't disagree completely that the defense didn't do a good job. And I'm looking down at my phone here because I'm trying to find a stat to share with you guys. But what I felt about the defense was that they had a second half letdown, just like the offense had a second half letdown. Now, the first half, defense, I would say, did play better than the offense and played pretty good. But I'm just specifically talking on the defense, their second half letdown, allowing, I think it was 15 points versus what they had in the first quarter, which I don't have all the numbers right in front of me. Let me see if I can tell you the rushing yards Philly had. So Philly had 91 yards rushing. So we're still doing pretty good there. We're not yet at the 45 that we were before, but we're not at the 245, I believe, that we let up for the Cowboys. So, but defense, I mean, yeah, it was great. Seeing Dante Jackson come out there, get an interception, seeing Dante Jackson force a turnover, that's good stuff. They got a safety. When was the last time you saw a safety?
It's been a long time.
Which, by the way, like really random because I don't want to forget.
Let's talk about this.
What are we going to talk about?
How did not a single one of them in the end zone jump on that ball? I know everyone at home was thinking that too, along with everyone in the stands, us in the press box. We were like, of all of those guys, no one was able to jump on it.
And then, strangely, you know, I was watching with the binoculars the whole play, and I'm feeling like I'm right there on the field, and you just kind of see him pedal, and then you see Jalen Hurts, like, is he going to reach down and get it? And then, you know, nothing happened, but a good thing happened in that we got the sack. I'm sorry, we got the safety, and we got 2 points out of it. Hassan Reddick, man, that guy, let me tell you, I love to give you guys some insight on what we see behind the scenes. And if I could, like, stay right there, I'm going to try to do my imitation of Hassan Reddick walking into the press. He was like, that's what he did. Like
I'm not gonna lie. If that was me, I would be the same way. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like if I lose and I am sad about it, you will see that in my body energy and my body language.
Yeah.
And so I can say that I would be the same as Hassan.
But I will give him some style points. Hassan walked in with a nice hat, with a red hat top.
Like a little bill?
Well, it was red underneath, whatever the bottom of the hat's
I
called.
think that's the bill.
Okay, yeah, the bill was red. You're right. It's red underneath. Had a nice little Gucci bag in his hand, whatever they call it. But he looked good. But he was very upset. And I will say this for all the fans that are wondering, like, are the players pissed? Are they upset? For me, seeing Coach Rule, like, I asked him a question and I felt like he was, like, I don't know what to say, because he was still mad. He was so mad. I felt like everybody. I saw sweat still coming off his head, and Hassan was visibly pretty upset. But let's talk about the numbers from Hassan. He had a couple of sacks. Mad that a few got away from him, but he had
2 sacks. I know that because he was the only person with sacks, and I predicted we were going to have 3 sacks.
Yeah.
So I was 1 off, but I'm glad Hassan got me my 2 sacks at least.
Yeah, he had the 2 sacks. He had 8 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 quarterback hits, and man, he seemed like he was just literally on the verge of getting a few more, and didn't get it. So defense is still a bright point. It's still a team that and I'm kind of I don't know if I'm going out of order, but we're building on our defense with getting C.J. Henderson, which he didn't play much today. I really thought that I would see a little bit more. I can't say how much I expected to see him, other than seeing him a little bit more than he did today. But we picked up C.J. Henderson, and we also picked up,
Stephon Gilmore.
That's my girl for me, helping me out. Yes, picked up Stephon Gilmore, and we want to improve this offensive line. So I guess before I talk about the GM too much, Scott did speak to us this week, and he did say this. He said, I'm paraphrasing, I'm trying to get better on the offensive line. But guess what, Lauren? Nobody's trying to come off their offensive lineman. He's like, there's not any free agents out there to go and get. And even guys or teams aren't even wanting to give up their backups.
I know.
So, he's at a loss for what to do and getting that offensive line improved, but it is something that they are trying to do, and I know that you hope that they do as well.
Yeah, that's one of my main concerns with this team this year is the O-line, and I know we've struggled in the years past with an O-line, and we have a few, guys that we paid a lot, like Taylor Moton, for instance. He is on a very high-paying contract, so I know a lot of people are really disappointed because...
So are you saying you don't like Taylor's performance?
Oh, no. I like Timo, but...
I mean, you can say it.
No, I do like Timo. I do like Timo. But I'm just saying, we have offensive linemen that we have invested a lot of money in, so I feel like there definitely are more options available, but like Fitterer said, it's pretty hard right now, tough times.
Let me ask you if Brady Christensen's play today. Now, I know I'm going to help her out here because I have her head down in Twitter all day, so she's not deeply into the game. But did you have any thoughts on Brady?
I wasn't really specifically watching for Brady, although I should have been because I know him and Timo are flopped.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I was actually watching hard for Christensen. But how did you feel about him?
So what I saw from Brady was, what I feel like is just a guy first time starting in a game on the NFL, having some struggles, right? So I know early on there was a stunt in which they crisscrossed. I was about to do it right here on the field, but they crisscrossed, and when they crisscrossed, Brady stayed with his initial blocker instead of coming off, and of course the guy on the inside couldn't come, and that led, I believe, to a sack, definitely a knockdown on Darnold, and I know he had a holding penalty. So
I did see that.
You saw the holding penalty? So for me, I don't want to sound like the coach. I have to watch a lot of the tape, but which I do go back and watch the tape. But I feel like it wasn't bad. I feel like he's a third-round draft pick, and we're not able, because I know you guys asked, what is he looking like in practice? And I've been asked, what are the backups looking like? Well, we don't get to watch practice anymore. We only get the first 15 minutes, which is basically calisthenics and individual stuff. We don't get to see guys and how they may be developing during practice. But I'm on the bandwagon as well about seeing some more of these guys that are behind the starters getting some reps.
And I feel like Brady's a very young guy, so I feel like there's always room for improvement for these rookies because they're coming out of college. I mean, they have a lot to learn. It's a different ball game when you're coming to the league.
Yeah.
It's not college anymore, and you're against veterans that have been in the league for 9, 10 years. So I feel like he has time to grow, so don't count him out yet.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to see how he plays in the future. But I want to talk about, because this is such a hot topic to talk about for our Panthers,
All right, hot topics.
is our kicker situation. So today, Gonzalez was 3 for 3.
Yeah.
If anyone was on today, it was him. And one of his field goals that he made was 50 yards. So he proved to us today that he has the leg and he has the consistency. I'm curious to see if this continues to follow through and if we can keep him like this for the rest of the season. If he does perform like he did today, I feel like we'll be really, really well off.
Yeah, I feel like, and I was looking at my notes and I didn't write it down. Wherever, like our dream crew of like our assistant, like script writer, our light guy, wherever you are, we can't wait for you to join the team to help us out. But I think it was like a 43, a 48.
40, yeah, I think that's right.
and
43, 48, and 50.
Look at that teamwork.
I think that is.
And he's kicking. I don't remember. Were his kickoffs touchback? I believe they were ran out, but I believe they still went to the end zone, right? So that was something that they had worked on with him, and I feel like with his current performance, that he's going to be a guy that can stay here. I mean, I love Joey Slye personally, but this guy with the pressure, with the kicks, they're seeming pretty good to me, and he's can stay around with us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to talk about, because I was on Twitter all throughout the game,
Tell us about
and I
Twitterverse.
saw a lot of people complaining about Greg Olsen, talking about how he wasn't, quote unquote, for the Panthers or rooting for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But when you're a commentator and you're reporting, he didn't get that job to be biased. As much as we love the Panthers, he can't go.
You even wore blue today,
I
kinda.
even wore blue, which
Yeah.
I kind of match with the wall right there. You guys, you can see the seats too behind me. I'm a little bit lighter. I'm more like Tar Heel blue, but I'm still blue, Carolina blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people were complaining, saying that he was not being biased, not speaking how they would like him to do on the Panthers. And I just wanted to say that as much as we want, everyone in Carolina loves Greg Olsen. I feel like people around the world love Greg Olsen. But when you have that job, you just cannot be biased, as a commentator reporting for a network. So I did want to address that. As much as we want him to root for the Panthers, he has to be like commentating on somewhat of a level field. How do you feel?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like that was like, I don't know if that was the elephant in the room whenever Greg was talking about these people, but it's like, hey, when you come in, and this is his second Carolina Panthers game, so they probably were saying, hey, we'll let you cover Carolina, I'm assuming, I don't know, because that'll help him with getting comfortable calling games, but because he knows the players and knows the things that they may do, but don't be a homer. I mean, everybody talks like being a homer, you can't just, it's a national TV audience. It's not just the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte, North Carolina watching. So, Greg, if you were doing a good job, sound like you are because people are criticizing you, then keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to share a funny quote to lighten the mood a little bit that I saw on Twitter today. And we did see AJ Bouye a lot today.
Yeah.
We did.
Did
but
you say his name right?
AJ Bouye.
Hey.
Yeah.
I know I was criticized because I didn't say it properly.
Oh, I hope I said it right. AJ Bouye. If I butcher that, I apologize, but
Get
I'm
her.
pretty sure
Get
that
her.
you roast me on Twitter, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure that's how it was said. Anyway, someone on Twitter tweeted me and said, at the end of his tweet, and said, AJ Bouye wrestles bears in the offseason. And I literally had to hold my breath because I was going to laugh so loud and it was dead silent in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's a legend. Like, he's a legend for saying this, but he definitely probably does. I mean, he wrestles things similar weight, maybe not necessarily a bear, but
I know he had a pretty good, it was one series, and man, I forget but I think he had like back-to-back, either good tackles, passes, but he did something where basically he controlled the series with his play. So certainly he seems to be a guy that, we had to wait a couple games for him to be eligible to play. Today was his second game back, and I like it. And maybe that same approach is what they're taking with C.J. Henderson. I know when he first came, Coach Rule said, hey, this is not a guy who needs to come here and fix a problem. He's a guy that we want here for a long time, and they're going to continue to bring him along slowly.
Definitely.
And, I got one more thing, unless you have.
oh,
Well,
I had one more, but
we
you
can
go ahead.
This is the part.
I was like, we
have-
can just go free for all.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
You can
Go
go
ahead.
ladies first.
Oh,
I'm a gentleman.
aw, such
Yeah.
a gentleman. So I did want to talk about Dante Jackson. He's a stud. And I just want to state that I would not want to be in front of that man on the football field. I'm just going to throw that out there. That's really the only thing I had to say about Dante is
Yeah.
he's a beast. He did great today. I feel bad that we lost because he was one of the players I was impressed with today, and I feel like he had a very solid game. But yeah, wouldn't want to be in front of him.
Yeah,
He hits hard.
I wanted to ask him today about his tackling. I didn't get a chance to, but yeah, I'm impressed, like super impressed with his tackling and how far it's come from where it used to be. Really, really good.
Okay, Mike's all yours.
All right, Mike's on mine. So one other miscellaneous note about transactions is today I learned that the Panthers are also trying to get free agent Jalen Smith from the Dallas Cowboys. You know he ultimately signed with the Green Bay Packers, but it's kind of like almost you're starting to be like, all right, come on, Fitterer. Like I know they say defense wins championships,
But we need
and you're
some.
trying to get all these. You're doing a good job of doing a lot of deals. But I say this: if we know that we're not going to be able to get an offensive lineman because of the current climate of availability in terms of those players, then let's start trying to do some really creative things. And I think they did try to change it up a little bit when I felt like they started going short for their passes because they knew they weren't having time. Keep on doing that. Yeah.
I definitely agree. I feel like we just need some help offensively.
Yeah.
We really do. But that's all I had to cover. I feel like I touched on all my spots. Do you feel like you touched on all yours?
Well, I mean, at least we got one light went out, a second light went out, and we got a camera that's getting low on its battery. So.
Thank God for natural sunlight, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will say this, hey, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell notifications. We are trying to grow tremendously. We're trying to do a lot more fun things with players and coaches, and I promise you, the larger we grow, the more you hit that subscribe button, the more fun things that Lauren and myself can do that you guys ask us to do and that we love to do. And be sure to join me tomorrow for our live 7 p.m. Eastern show. Ask me any questions that you have about the Carolina Panthers, and maybe one day you'll join me.
Maybe one day you'll see my face make an appearance. But thank you all for tuning in. Again, I'm Lauren Reese, and this is my co-host, Chris Jenkins. Thanks for joining us.